I have a confession to make. I am not the poster child for what you think sustainability is. I wear high heels, not Birkenstocks. I shave. And let me share with you an embarrassing secret that I've carried with me for 20 plus years. When I was in law school, I had a roommate who painstakingly sorted our recyclables from our trash. One day she asked me to take our recycling out. I did not feel like going all the way downstairs to the recycling bin, so I walked down the hallway, opened the trash chute, and dumped her recycling down the trash chute. So you might be wondering, why in the world would I be so passionate and so obsessed about sustainability? Well, it turns out that sustainability is not some far left, hippie, granola, crunchy wing movement to save the polar bears. Rather, sustainability is all about solving world problems through business. Stated a different way, it's about making money by solving world problems. And I am passionate about solving world problems. We have tons of them. We have hunger, poverty, lack of good education, lack of good health, lack of access to clean water and clean sanitation, gender equality. I bet you everybody in this room has a little child that they can think of that they absolutely love and want the best for, whether it's their own child, a grandchild, a niece and nephew, or even a younger brother or sister. And I bet that you want this world to be absolutely wonderful for that child. And you wonder, how can we do this? And you also think about the kids in Delaware that are hungry, that literally only eat when they're in school. You think about the starving kids in Africa and around the world, and you think, I really want to make a difference. And I have great news for you. We can make a difference, and sustainability is helping us to be able to do that. So back in the day, and even up until recently, college graduates generally had one of two choices. They either went into the business profession or they went into the social sector, the nonprofits, nursing, teaching, social work, government employee. But sustainability is changing that. Sustainability is merging those two together. So it's no longer an either or choice between going into the business world and making enough money to support your family versus going into a profession where you feel like you're having a meaningful impact on the world and making a difference. Sustainability is saying it's all one and we can do it together. So sustainability is all about E, S, and G. E is for the environment, S is for social, that's people, and G is for governance, and sometimes you'll hear it being referred to as the economy. It's about our impact, yours, mine, the company that we work for, the nonprofit that we work for, our government. It's about our impact on those three things. The environment is pretty self-explanatory. Do you as an individual or as a homeowner use dangerous pesticides on your land to kill your weeds? Do you plant non-native flowers or other plants on your property? Do you unknowingly use carcinogenic products on your family members? Same thing with the business community. The environment is all about, are you minimizing the amount of water that you're using in your processing? Are you minimizing the amount of waste that you're churning out by recycling, upcycling, reusing? Are you watching out for the carbon that you're emitting? Are you looking at the lighting that you have in your facility and installing smart lighting so that you can reduce the amount of energy that you're using? So that's energy. Sustainability is also about people, and it's about our impact on other people. So for example, if you're an individual or you're a family, it's about making sure that the products you buy are not being manufactured with child labor, human trafficked labor, or from people who are working in conditions that are unsuitable for humans. It's about making sure that the clothes that we buy are not being manufactured in these garment factories abroad where people are being paid a dismally low wage, working incredibly long hours in very dangerous working conditions where if there's a fire in the factory, there's a possibility that people could die because these safety conditions, the safety precautions have not been taken at that factory. It's about us sending a message to companies and to brands saying we will not tolerate human rights abuses in the products that we purchase. We are willing to pay a little bit more money so that we know a 5-year-old did not sew this jacket together. If you're a company, it's the same thing. With respect to a company, you've got a greater number of people that you're impacting on a daily basis. You have your employees, you have the local community, the people living in your local community, and you also have the people, the employees in your supply chain. So with respect to your own employees, it's about ensuring that they are better off for having worked for you. Do you have diversity in the boardroom, at the C-suite, and throughout the whole company? Do you pay a livable wage? Is the health and well-being of your employees one of the top priorities of your organization, of your company? Is diversity a valued and is inclusion very prevalent in your organization? So these are things that companies can do to ensure that the impact they're having on their employees is a positive one. So companies also have an impact on the local community. And it's about, sustainability is about ensuring that that organization, that company's impact is a very positive one. The negative ones are you going into a community and stripping it of all of its natural resources, its trees, its minerals, whatever it might be there? Are you taking all the profits and sending them out of the area, out of the region? Are you paying a low wage and doing just the very minimal amount of training that you need to for those local employees? This is also where corporate philanthropy fits in, where a corporation gives back to the community, to local causes, to local charities, to help make a difference in the education or the health or the poverty or the well-being of the members of that community as a thank you, as a way of saying, you've accepted us into the community and we want to give back to you. And that's where employee volunteering comes in as well. It's, again, impacting that local community that company is operating in and improving it. And so the last piece of it for a company of improving your impact on people has to do with your supply chain. So it's one thing to say that you're going to treat your own employees well. It's another to say, I'm going to make sure that I am not purchasing supplies and inputs for my company that are being made in violation of international human rights laws against child abuse, against child labor, against trafficked labor, and again, against people who are working in very dangerous and unsuitable conditions. So, for example, if you are a company, let's say a candy bar manufacturer, and you take a lot of painstaking efforts to ensure that your operations are sustainable, that you have diversity, that you're committed to your employees, what happens if the cocoa that you're buying, let's say it comes from South America, is being manufactured in an unsustainable way? Well, that really weakens the case that you make to the public and even to your own selves that you're truly sustainable. So it's very, very important for a company to look through its supply chain and use its procurement power, the power of its money, to say, I am only going to buy goods and services from companies in a supply chain, in my supply chain, that I know are producing in a sustainable manner. So that's absolutely critical. The last piece of sort of the sustainability view of the impact of your actions on the environment and on people and on the local economy, which is alternatively or stated as your impact on the corporate governance, it's the governance piece of it. And corporate governance and sustainability is about ensuring that your board of directors is committed to sustainability. It's ensuring that the top executives' pay and bonuses are tied to hitting sustainability measures. It's about integrity and trust. Think Enron. So these are some of the components that go into corporate governance, and that's a very, very critical part of sustainability. So you might be saying to yourselves now, okay, Melanie, you sound like you're talking about something that makes a lot of sense. I might be interested in it, but isn't this really just a redistribution of wealth from people who have it to people who don't? And isn't this just a cost that businesses are going to have to spend? Like, why are they going to be interested in doing something like this? Well, yes and no. It is going to be a cost, but it's an investment, and stakeholders are demanding it. Our stakeholders, the investors, the employees, and the consumers, are telling companies, they're telling organizations that they want sustainability. And so those companies and those organizations that adopt sustainability are going to be rewarded. So let's look at the investors. Billions of dollars are being spent right now, invested in companies and funds that are sustainable. So if you're a company and you want that investment, it would behoove you to commit to sustainability. Employees, students coming out of colleges, and I could probably let the room here speak for itself, they want to go work for a place that has a value that lines up with theirs, that it has a social impact, that stands for what they believe in, that's making a difference in the world. You might hear this called sometimes as a purpose-driven company, and that's what employees are looking for. By 2025, 75% of the workforce is going to be millennials. So if you're a company or an organization and you want to attract or retain top talent, better commit to sustainability. And lastly, we have consumers, both business-to-business consumers as well as B2B and B2C, the business to actual consumer. Business to business is for those big companies, the Fortune 500 companies, about which 90% are committed to sustainability already. 90% of the Fortune 500 companies are committed to sustainability because they know the value in it. If you're a smaller or medium-sized company and you want to be in the supply chain of those larger ones, larger companies, those larger companies are starting to push down on their supply chain, just like we talked about a moment ago, to say, if you're going to bid to sell me goods and services, I want to see what you're doing around sustainability. So if you want to get a competitive advantage over all the other small and medium-sized companies that are out there trying to compete to service these large Fortune 500 companies, you better look at becoming sustainable. So sustainability is something that is absolutely critical for investing, for employees, for consumers. And when you look at the business-to-business consumer, you can't forget about the business-to-customer, the individual, the you and me. Think Whole Foods. Think people who want to buy healthy products to put in their family's mouths, whether it's organic food or clothes that are not manufactured with dangerous chemicals, or shampoos, or makeup, or anything else that you can think of. And you can think of some top brands that already have this kind of a reputation. Years ago, it was Ben & Jerry's, Patagonia. There's all kinds of companies right now that are really branding themselves as being sustainable, as standing for something that's bigger than themselves, that's greater, that has a social impact, and they're making a difference. So, sustainability, the train has left the station. Europe is much more committed to sustainability than the United States is. California, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, cities from Los Angeles to New York, from Boston to Atlanta, they are developing sustainability plans, and they are hiring chief sustainability officers to make their communities sustainable. We have the opportunity now the opportunity of a lifetime to change the course of history. 2,000 years from now, will people look back on these times in despair at the fact that we were not able to change the future and what it ended up becoming? Or will they look at these times and praise the courage that we had to make the difficult and the deep changes necessary to change our behaviors, our patterns, our values, our work ethics, everything about it, to ensure the better future 2,000 years from now? Won't you please join me tomorrow in taking one small step towards solving a world problem, whether it's turning the water off when you brush your teeth, or whether it's giving away or selling the things that have been sitting in your basement for years that you're not using, or even just being conscious, just being aware of every impact that your daily actions have on other people and on our world. Thank you.